Hey y'all, Mama Snark here. I am here live to you from Walt Disney World's All-Star Sports Resort. I'm here for a very quick little solo trip to cover the Festival of the Holidays, but I'm also going to film a quick little video that I've been wanting to do for a while now about the playgrounds here at Disney World. So as a mom of two little ones, I'm here to tell you playgrounds are very important. And I know that seems crazy because there's so much to do here. Like there are so many rides, there's so much to look at and see and whatever. But as a mom of two little ones, I can tell you they need a chance to just kind of get out and get their wiggles out. And if you think about it, your kid is going to be pushed in a stroller for about 70 to 80% of your Disney day. Like I know my little ones typically are. Like now that they're getting a little bit older, my son is now 5 and my daughter, or he's 5.5, and my daughter is 4. But up until recently, they were pretty much just in the stroller all the time. Now I'm at the point where I can kind of park the stroller in a land and we can walk a little bit around the area and then go back to it. But they're being pushed a good bit. So they need a chance to just kind of get out and get their wiggles out and have some free play without being like confined. So I'm going to start with theme parks first. First up is going to be my least favorite, which is Hollywood Studios. Now don't get me wrong, my children absolutely love Hollywood Studios. It's one of their favorite parks. But my kids are also thrill ride junkies. So they love Slinky Dog, Tower of Terror, Smuggler's Run. They like the thrills. As far as like playgrounds go, or like a spot to kind of just get out and get their wiggles, the only thing that's really available at Hollywood Studios is the Disney Junior Dance Party, which my kids don't care for. We've done it once and they were both just kind of like, can we go? They thought the bubbles coming out was cool, but other than that, like they didn't really care for it. I know a lot of people's little kids do love it though, so that's your spot to go for Hollywood Studios, to just kind of run around and let them have a little bit of space to run and move and, you know, get their bodies going and their minds so they're not going stir crazy on you. Years ago, back whenever I was a kid, they had the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground. And that thing, like, that's one of my most vivid memories from my first Disney trip when I was 10. I came with a friend of mine, and that thing was amazing. But like other things, it has been bulldozed. So Hollywood Studios, that's your only bet. And it's also a smaller park, so there's not really any places for you to kind of tuck off and just let your kid run there. Next up is going to be Animal Kingdom. Now, they do have a lot of like animal trails that you can get your kid out of the stroller and let them kind of walk, but my kids really weren't into that so much either. They do love the one playground that's at Animal Kingdom. It's called the Boneyard Playground. I have mixed feelings about this one. My kids loved it, absolutely loved it, but as a helicopter parent in public, and I'll preface this by saying we're not helicopter parents at home. Both of my kids have had several concussion watches. It happens. We let them make mistakes, we let them run, jump, play, whatever. In public, we are on top of them, especially in a place like Disney, because Mama watches a lot of SVU. So I'll insert some footage for you as I'm talking about what I'm talking about. The main playground area, I will say I do like that it's one way in and one way out. Like it only has one entrance and one exit. But there's a lot of space in between that entrance and exit that things can happen. So it does have a little space when you first walk into the entrance. Off to the right hand side, there are some smaller slides for like younger tots to play on that you can kind of sit back and just kind of let them play and watch them. But the big draw, which is the big netted cage thing, has all kinds of entrances and exits. And the only way that my kids can go in there is if I am here with another adult, usually my husband, so that he follows them up and follows them in the netted cargo climbing space. And then I am at the bottom to play catch, and he lets me know where they're coming down, and he will send them down and I will catch them and wait for the next kid. Because especially if you have two kids, like your kid comes down and the other one decides to take off and go another direction, like they're going to be up there just, I don't like it. Or they come down another exit and they're on the other side of the playground and you're not. and I don't like that. But the other part, sorry, I'm trying not to hold this camera weird. Okay, so the other part to that is called the dig pit, and that one actually is really fun. It's not sand, it's like these teeny tiny little pea pebbles, which that I'm not a fan of, but it is better than sand, I'll tell you that. The hardest part for my kids there is that you can't take your shoes off, and their innate instinct, because like we have a sandbox at home, is to take their shoes off before they get in it, and you can't. So trying to tell your child, especially if it's summertime and they're wearing Keen sandals that has like the holes in it and the pebbles are just getting up in there, that they need to keep their sandals on, it's not the easiest. But they do enjoy it, and I will say the dig pit is an area that I am able to kind of just sit back. Like they have a ledge that adults can sit on and like little rocks and boulders and stuff. So I can just kind of sit back and monitor and watch them play. And it's a good way to just let, you know, get them out of that containment feeling so that their little minds can have a minute. So that's Animal Kingdom.
And one of my kids' absolute favorite spots at Animal Kingdom is on this little bridge here on the way to Africa. They have these little drum sets kind of set up, and my kids love stopping at these and just running around and banging on these things until their heart's content. It's a great way to get them out of the stroller, get some wiggles out, just let them, you know, run around and have a blast.
Epcot. I don't know why, but people with little ones want to skip Epcot. It is my entire family's favorite park. Hands down. Both my kids, you ask them where they want to go, Epcot. So Epcot actually has a decent amount of like either interactive places or places for them just kind of run around and get some wiggles out. So number one, I'm going to kind of go around this way. Number one is going to be the aquarium. So when you pass like Spaceship Earth and you're going towards the land pavilion, they have the Finding Nemo ride. At the exit to that, and you don't have to ride Finding Nemo to get there, you can go through the gift shop, but at the exit to that ride is a massive aquarium. And they also have this cool little like interactive part with the big Bruce mouth that you can climb in and take a picture. It's got like an interactive part where you like match the fish together and kind of crawl around and do all that kind of stuff. And then it's also just a massive aquarium. So there's a lot of space for them to run and go look at things and, you know, not be confined in a space. And it's educational. It's fun for them. Excellent spot to just go, and it's in the air conditioner. Get some wiggles out. Take some time to cool off. It's in the summer, if it's in the summer months, because whew. Next spot is going to be the exit to Journey into the Imagination with Figment. This is my son's favorite ride. This is my 5.5-year-old. He loves Figment. He thinks this ride's hysterical. At the exit to that, and again, you don't have to ride it, you can go through the gift shop entrance, is a like imaginative play space. They've got this little like football field goal thing where you, with a screen behind it, and you go in it and you wave your arms around and it makes like music like do 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 do. My kids love that. There's a wall that's like Simon Says, like you've got to press the panels and it does a pattern, and then you have to press it in the correct pattern and remember it. That's really fun. It's got this big like carpet area with squares and like music notes, and it'll light up a square and you got to hop on that one and it makes the music note sound. You can create your own Figment there. And then they also have character meets there, so you can meet Figment there. That line's usually insane. Or you can meet Joy from Inside Out. So that's my other spot. My last, oh no, they got a completely other spot. So the other spot there.
So the
Figment exits right here, and if you walk up the stairs, it goes here to the Pixar Festival, and that's where you can meet Mickey and Minnie. Usually there's no line. Monorail! Because not a lot of people know about it, so Weeze wanted to see the water shooters, as she calls them. She's obsessed with watching the jumping waters.
Oh, that's cool!
Is that your water shooters? Yeah.
Just take a minute to get some wiggles out.
Yeah.
There's also like a little smaller set.
Hey,
Right
Weeze.
across from that, like behind it. She loves to
Look what Mama got you.
It's right outside of the Creation Shop. Before, it's kind of like in the middle of like by Test Track and Guardians. Like find Test Track and Guardians and then go towards Creations and you'll see it. It's a playground in front of that. And it used to be, it's now Wally themed. I think it used to be like Tiana themed or something. It changed between the years that we came, but it's got a lot of great like climbing structures and like this big thing that they can move on, and there's like a thing they can hang on and it spins, and they have a spot with like little ride-on things, little ones can sit on them, like, you know, rock back and forth. And it's not completely closed in, like it is contained. There are like shrubbery and bushes kind of marking it off, so there is like technically one entrance and exit, but like if someone wanted to, they could just reach through and grab a kid and run. So I also, one thing my friend and I were talking about on a recent trip, it kind of baffles me, the parents with little, like I understand if you've got like a 10-year-old, but kids my ages or like younger that are just sitting there with their face in their phone. Don't do that, y'all. Watch your kid. Be vigilant. Watch your kid. So yeah, that's a great play space. Kids to run around, get some wiggles out. My kid asks to go to it every time we come. The next spot is going to be
playground at the exit of Mission Space. You do not have to ride Mission Space in order to get to it. Simply walk around the side of the building and enter through the gift shop area there. There is a massive, really cool area for kids and even up to like teenagers. They have this whole bank of like video games and video game simulators right there, as well as this really cool, like kind of old school McDonald play area with lots of like tunnels and crawl spaces. They have an area that is designated for kids 2 to 5 that is like smaller tunnels kind of close to the ground, so they're not, you know, climbing up high. It only goes through this little area here. And then there's also the bigger area that goes up to 12-year-olds. That's going to be the tunnels and the like kind of crawl through areas that go along the length kind of up higher above. And it's mostly contained, which I love. And then, like I said, they have like the little video game area here. My kid had a blast just kind of detoxing and taking a break from the heat. This whole area is air conditioned. He got to sit and just play a video game and just relax for a minute, especially if you have like tweens or teenagers. You can just pop a squat somewhere and take a minute to reset and let them, you know, do the same thing as well.
As you're going around World Showcase, starting at Mexico, because obviously when you hit, I think it's like the African outpost, I think, or the something refreshment outpost. I think it's the African outpost. It's between like China and Germany. They have a section that's kind of tucked away that has these like drums and xylophone things. It's got like a big truck parked under it, but it's got like the massive drums. My kids love it. They love to just go beat on the drums and do the xylophone, and they ask to do it every time we pass it. Stop. Say yes. Take a minute. Say yes when your kid wants to do it. Pull the stroller over, park it, let your kids hop out, and just take 10 to 15 minutes to beat on some drums. If you are with another adult, leave another adult to kind of watch, because it's a smallish space. So like one adult can keep an eye on 2 kids running around in there. Go grab a beer from the Germany beer cart. My favorite, the Schopperhofer. Grab a beer. There's also like the African outpost, refreshment outpost also has a beer stand and like a food stand. Grab a beer. Sit, have a refreshing beverage, watch your kid for a minute, let them get some wiggles out. It's one of my biggest tips. So that's it for Epcot. Coming on to Magic Kingdom is gonna have the most spots for your little one to run around and get some wiggles out. Number 1 is going to be the splash pad at like the circus area, and it's where they have like some meet and greets. It's got like a splash pad, especially if it's in the summertime, like pack a swim diaper, pack a spare change of clothes, let your kids run wild. Another place in Magic Kingdom, this is my kids, they love this one. The Dumbo ride has a play space inside. And in the busy times, when you get in line for Dumbo, they will give you, when you get inside to get in line, at the podium, they will give you a buzzer, like a restaurant pager, and they will buzz you when it's your turn to go line up. And in the meantime, you can go in the air-conditioned spot and let your kid play. Now, this is one that, unless it's like nobody's in there, we do stay on top of our kids. Like we're pacing and keeping an eye on and watching and passing kids back and forth, and we're not just like sitting down. If it's no one in there, we are able to just go kind of sit back because our kids are the only ones that we're watching. So like we can kind of watch from afar. But if it's busy, we're on top of them. But it's got like some great crawling spaces. They can go like up and all the way over to this side. There's some slides. There's some little swingy things they can like sit on and swing back and forth. It's a great time. My kids love that more than I love actually riding Dumbo. Another spot in Magic Kingdom is going to be the exit to Splash Mountain, or like where the entrance to Splash Mountain is. It's like right there on the right hand side of that. And it is still open even though Splash Mountain is closed for refurbishment. But this one is going to be more of like a Tiny Tots play area. Like a kid older than 4 is not really going to be impressed with it. But it's like a good little like crawl through and slide, and it's a soft one. So that's a good area if you've got older siblings when it reopens riding Splash Mountain or siblings riding Thunder Mountain. Take the little ones there. It's not in the air condition, but it is in a covered space, so you're out of the sun. So that's a spot. Another spot is going to be the hub grass in front of the castle. You need to take a break, go grab some popcorn, grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever. Sit in the hub grass and just kind of let your kids run around for a minute, get some wiggles out. Sometimes you just need to do that. Another thing is going to be like ride lines at Magic Kingdom. I believe Haunted Mansion has like an interactive part. I haven't done it, so I don't know. As well as Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has like an interactive section where you can like spin the jewels around and it like makes things on the ceiling. My kids love the Winnie the Pooh ride. They call it the Honey Pot ride. And they love the line for it. I can tell you right now, they don't give two flying flips about the actual ride. They asked to do that ride because they want to do the line. So that's going to be one of those. I do not recommend using Lightning Lane on because my kids just want to play in the line. They've got this great space on the side that has like, you turn the knob and the balls pop around and you can do something with a carrot. And then when you get a little further up in the line, it's like a little like looping pole with some beehives, and you take the little bees and run them kind of like at the doctor's office in the 90s. Those little like games with the loopy wire, and you put the beads on them. So it's little beads or little bees that go through the honey pot, and when they go through the honey pot, it goes bzzz, and it loops like a good ways through the line. My kids love it. And then you come up a little bit further than that, there's like a giant wall with honey dripping. It's like a TV screen, and you rub it and you smear the honey, and it reveals a Winnie the Pooh character underneath. Also bring your hand sanitizer. But one of my kids' favorite spots in Disney, so definitely recommend that. And now I'm going to move on to resorts. I haven't stayed at all of them, so I'll just go over some of my favorites. Not all, most Disney World resort hotels have playgrounds. I'm going to go over probably the most popular. My kids love this one so much, but it is my least favorite. It is Art of Animation. They've got this really, really cool, like coral reef, giant behemoth of a playground thing right past the pool. You can, like, we've stayed at Pop and we stayed at Caribbean Beach and just walked to it. You don't have to be staying there to use it. But this thing has so many entrances and so many exits. So it is not relaxing at all for parents because we are constantly chasing our kid around it and like ducking and going under tunnels and like following them and making sure we're watching with our eyes as they go up the slide and making sure we're running back around to catch them as they come down the slide. And it's exhausting, especially if you've spent a long time at a park and you want to just sit and relax and let your kid burn energy because they have energy to spare. That's not the one. So what I recommend, if you're staying at Art of Animation, walk over to Pop Century. They have one of my favorite playgrounds on Disney property at Pop Century. It's not anything special. It's not going to be like, ooh, wow, and themed and whatever. It's just a basic like playground that you'd find at a city park. But the entire thing is enclosed with a gate and a fence. So you open the fence from one spot, and that's the same spot that you leave. So you can go in, you can sit along the wall. They have like a concrete bench that lines the whole thing, and you can just watch your kid play. And you can sit there, and if no one else is in the playground, you can actually have a minute to just, because Disney is a lot. It's a lot for kids, it's a lot for parents, it's a lot of stimulation, it's a lot of physical activity. So that is my absolute favorite playground on Disney property, hands down, bar none. Pop Century. My next favorite is probably Caribbean Beach Resort. And if you're staying at Pop or Art of Animation, or honestly, even if you're at Epcot for the day and you need just like a break from the crowds, take the Skyliner, go to Caribbean Beach Resort. It's not enclosed per se, but it is like, for the most part, enclosed. Like, it's not fenced in, but it's bordered pretty heavily by like, I don't know, like wooden like stump things and some shrubbery and stuff. So it's hard to like get in and out from not the entrance. But it's got like a big climbing structure. It's got a couple of smaller slides for smaller kids. It's not covered, but it does have like a little bit of a shade with like the triangle net things shading it. My kids love playing on it. I love that I can sit down and watch them without being completely on top of them. So that's another one that kind of gives parents a little bit of a break, because you're gonna need it too, and let your kid burn some energy. Caribbean Beach also has some beaches. I think they sell like a sand bucket and shovel. I think it's like Nemo themed in the gift shop for not that expensive, like $10 or something. Don't quote me on this, but bring one trip that we came on, we never ended up using it, but I brought a collapsible pail and shovel set that I'd gotten super cheap on Amazon. Let my kids, we didn't that trip, but let your kids just sit in the sand with a shovel and a pail. And I can promise you it'll bring at least 30 minutes of entertainment for you. Next up, I'm going to round onto the All-Stars, because that's where we stay the most frequently due to pricing. My least favorite, All-Star movies. Don't like at all. So, number one, it has sand. Why, Disney? Why are you doing that to me? I'm going to back up and say the Caribbean Beach one is like a rubber mulch, and the Pop Century is pebbles. So not as bad as sand. And then Art of Animation, it's like AstroTurf, like spongy floor. All-Star movies, sand on the floor. So that's cool to bring back to your hotel room. Also, it's got a couple of like cool playground structure things, but inside the biggest playground structure is a wheelchair ramp, which is great. I'm not knocking that. But the wheelchair ramp exits the playground to the sidewalk. And as a parent, the only way to get there is to either run all the way up from the other wheelchair spot and dash to get your kid, or to go out the actual entrance and figure out which way your kid went and dash to get them. So if you have two people with you, two adults, station one of them outside of the actual playground near where that wheelchair ramp exits, because one of our kids occasionally will get a wild hair and decide to dart. So if your kid sees something shiny and takes off, good luck. Hope you can run fast. That's all I gotta say. So that's my least favorite. Coming up behind that one is gonna be All-Star Music. Also sand, but this one is fenced in. So you can actually like go in and just kind of sit and relax and just keep an eye on your kid and watch them while they play. Hate the sand. Take the sand away. Take it away. It's as bad as glitter. Coming up after that, All-Star Sports. Also fenced in. Great. Has a bench for you to sit. Keep an eye on your kid and watch them. Also has a sand floor. Why, Disney? Yeah. So, those are my like I said, just based on the resorts that we have stayed at, Saratoga Springs, from what I have seen on the internet, their playground looks amazing. It's like an old school, like Victorian cottage looking playground. My daughter would love it. We haven't stayed there. Not worth the trip just to see the playground for us. French Quarter, Port Orleans, Riverside, I think they both have cute little playgrounds. I'm not 100% sure on the detailing on those because I haven't stayed at those resorts. But like I said, not all, but most Disney resorts have a playground of some sort. But by far my favorite is Pop Century, followed closely by Caribbean Beach Resort. Love them. But yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully this was helpful in finding spots to take your little ones to stop and get some wiggles out and let them just kind of burn some of that excess energy they have from sitting in the stroller all day. I know I see this question pop up frequently in my mom groups, so hopefully this information was helpful for you. Make sure you give this video a like and a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and follow along for more content. Bye guys.